Welcome back to the Homeowner Hotline. I'm your host, Yasmin Fields, and we're here to cut through the noise, talk about real estate without the fluff, the fear, or the clickbait.
And I'm your co-host, Jennifer Shoddy. And today's episode starts with a question I hear constantly from buyers, parents of first-time home buyers, renters who feel like they're really just kind of spinning wheels. It would be, will housing ever be affordable again?
It will. That's the short answer. But just not the way everybody's hoping it's going to.
Yeah. So let's get into the three changes that experts say would need to happen to truly fix affordability and why none of them are very likely.
I know, isn't that the bad news?
Yeah.
Well, the pandemic window is gone. You guys know during the pandemic, rates dropped below 3%. That was a once in a generation moment.
For real. According to the data from realtor.com shared with Fortune, buyers who missed that window are now facing a very different reality.
They are. Today's rates hover closer to 6%,
Yep.
and that alone has dramatically changed monthly payments, even if prices haven't skyrocketed in your specific neighborhood.
Right. And, here's a stat that should stop everyone in their tracks.
Jessica Lotz, Deputy Chief Economist at National Association of Realtors, says the share of first-time homebuyers has dropped by 50%.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's compared to right before the Great Recession.
It's huge, huge. So let's talk about change number one, okay? Mortgage rates would have to crash.
Experts say affordability could return if mortgage rates fell below 2.65% again. I don't think we're seeing that again.
Happening.
That's a once in a lifetime thing.
I don't see that happening. But let's be honest, that only happened because of the emergency economic policies that were put into place during the global crisis we were all facing.
So for rates to drop that low again, we'd likely need to see another major economic shock.
Yeah, and I mean, nobody's wishing for that.
I'm not putting a mask back on.
Yeah.
That was awful.
So while rates may come down a bit over time, and we've noticed a significant change over the past month or so in rates, I would say.
I mean, it's not 1982 where they were 18.5%.
Exactly. And, we're not at the 2%, but we are hovering around, like we said, the 6 high fives. I think 5.99 right now is where we're about. But expecting a return to pandemic era rates is definitely not a realistic plan. So
it's not.
Those of you waiting for that, you're going to have a housing issue for quite some time.
Well, you're setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just being honest and transparent.
Yes.
Let's talk about change number 2. Incomes would need to explode.
Yeah. Here's the second possibility.
So household incomes would need to rise by about 56% to restore the affordability at today's prices and rates.
Yeah, let that number sink in.
Seriously.
That percentage of 56%.
That level of wage does not happen overnight, and historically it only happens during long sustained economic expansions.
Yeah, not quick fixes, not election cycles, not viral TikTok advice.
You mean I can't get it on TikTok?
I mean, sorry, no.
Darn.
So between mortgage rates and income, again, here's 2 out of 3 we've talked about. Not really going to happen.
Well, the next one's not going to happen either, so let's jump into that.
Let's talk about the home prices would have to drop 35%.
This is one thing that buyers would love to hear.
Oh, absolutely. What buyer wouldn't want to hear that drop from 35%? It would definitely help the affordability.
It would, but economists say it's highly unlikely. And here's the reason why. Most homeowners have significant equity. Lending standards are far more conservative than 2008.
Yep.
Millions of homeowners own outright or have an ultra low mortgage rate.
Right.
And inventory remains light.
Yeah. I mean, we looked at the numbers today for what came on, what went off, and it's still a relatively balanced market.
It is.
So in other words, there's no forced selling pressure like we saw during the last crash.
No, there's not.
People
and that happened for so many different reasons that people I don't think about.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's get into the catch-22 that nobody's talking about.
So the CEO of A&D Mortgage explained the real problem perfectly.
Yep, and that would be the moment you make strides in any of these factors, more people enter the market, demand increases, and prices rise again.
That's the affordability paradox.
Yep, the second things improve, competition returns.
Yeah.
So
it's a vicious cycle.
I was just going to say that.
It's a vicious
a cycle for sure.
So let's tell the buyers what this means for them right now.
Yeah, so what's the takeaway here, right? Affordability isn't likely to be fixed by one big event.
No, instead we're seeing smaller rate adjustments, slower price growth,
Yep.
creative financing strategies,
right,
and buyers needing stronger guidance, not just hope.
Yeah, and this is why strategy matters more than timing, truthfully. And like we said, if you're waiting and waiting for those rates to continue dropping and dropping, I don't know. What are your thoughts on where you foresee the rates going further this year?
I think maybe we'll see them down in the low fives.
That's what I was thinking.
4%?
Yeah. No.
And I think that also kind of, helps people if you're planning for that, right? Like, so I know affordability is an issue. So you have to pivot on what you're purchasing, obviously. And I think that puts things into a little bit more reality of when you're walking into a home, maybe that fixture upper doesn't look so bad, right?
Right. And honestly, though, compared to last year, you can afford more of, the $600,000 house versus the $400,000
because the $600,000 house right now was what, $850 a year ago, maybe?
Yeah. So between, like we mentioned, the rate adjustment helping also with pricing, which we've noticed between appraisers and just the market in general, kind of making the correction that's been needed. I think we're sitting in a good place right now for buyers to move forward.
I actually saw a new construction home appraisal fall short. So don't be out there waving your new construction appraisals, guys, because they can fall short.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
That was 5 months ago.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Yeah,
So guys, the bottom line is if you're waiting for the perfect market, you may be waiting for a very long time. But if you're willing to understand your numbers, your options, and your long-term goals, there are paths forward, even in today's market.
Yeah, and if this episode helped you make sense of what you're seeing in the headlines, share it with someone who's feeling stuck or still questioning things. As always, you don't need a crystal ball.
You need a plan.
And great realtors to help.
Call your homegirls.
Us. Thanks again for listening to the Homeowner Hotline. Hope to have you back for our next episode.
Absolutely.